Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our second lesson in our new book, which is called Proportional Reasoning 1. It's green. We're on page 9, and on page 9, you can write notes on top. I'm going to make that bigger. Tables and double number lines. We will use tables and double number lines to solve problems. I encourage you all to do this kind of strategy to reason out what the real proportion is when we come to these questions, okay? Here's what we have to work with. Sienna earns $32 for every 4 hours of babysitting. So we want to make sure we understand that's not per hour, that's for 4 hours. Okay, complete the following table. We're using these two numbers. 32 is the dollar amount, and these are the hours. $32, 4 hours. Okay, let's fill this part in. If she makes $32 for 4 hours, how much does she make for 60? How many hours does she have to work to earn $64? She has to work 8 because it's double. Do you see how it's twice? Yeah, or times 2. So this has to be twice as much as well. Okay. How about 1 hour? Okay, she works 4 hours for $32. So she works 8. She gets $8 for 1 hour because this is a fourth. So you're dividing this by 4. So it's a division or multiplication factor, right? 4 divided by 4 is 1. Therefore, 32 divided by 4 is 8. So that's the connection. Okay. Then how about 2 hours? She works 2 hours. She makes $16 because she works 1 hour for $8. 2 is twice as much. And let's finish the table on underneath. And then we'll go over there. And I erase this so I have room to write. So these are true proportions. So dollars to hours. Dollars is listed first, so that's what you have to use first. So the number 32 is first. Oh, not dividing, it's 2. 32 to 4. The order is important. How it's listed. And you can write it as a ratio, dollars to hours. So 32 every 4 hours. She gets $32. Dollars to hours, 64 to 8 or 64 over 8. We say over 8. Dollars to hour, 8 to 1. 8 to 1. 16 to 2. 16 to 2. And now we have to figure out these. $48, that goes into dollars, every 6 hours. Right? And then 5. How much does she get paid for 5 hours? I'm going back here. I like this number the best. This is called the unit rate. So it tells me how much does she make for 1 hour. For 1 hour, it's $8. So for 5 hours, it's 5 times 8. Or you can add 8 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. $40. Okay. And that would be 40 to 5 or 40 over 5. And this is 48 over 6. These proportions here, these ratios are all the same value. You can tell. If I would divide this, each one of them will be 8. 64 divided by 8 is 8. 8 divided by 1 is 8. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 48 divided by 6 is 8. 40 divided by 5 is also 8. So the value, I'm going to put that down here, the value of these ratios, these fractions are called ratios, is always 8. Okay, and that's how you can tell if these ratios are equal. Okay, if you divide. Explain how you found the number of dollars earned for 5 hours of babysitting. This is homework. I want you to think, how did we find this entry? I remember I went back here and did something. How much does Sienna earn per hour? How do you know from the table? This is also homework. So it's actually notes plus homework up there. And number 4, the number in the bottom row, dollars per hours, is called the value of the ratio or the unit rate. A unit rate always compares two quantities. Let me look on our first page and see if we have that on our first page. Unit rate, tape diagram, unit rate. There it is on the bottom. Compares two quantities like mile per hour, where one of those units is a 1. You drive 60 miles each hour. Okay, so that's where that came from, unit rate. What is Sienna's unit rate? $8. How do you, dollars? Can't even spell. Dollars. $8 per hour. You can, anytime the word per appears, like miles per hour, dollars per hour, that's called a unit rate, right? This here tells me that, okay? How is the ratio and the value of a ratio different? Okay, section 1.5 is the one in the back with all your words, the vocabulary list, and you can also go to your very first page, right, where we wrote them all down. So a ratio is a comparison of two numbers. You can write it as a fraction. This is a ratio. It's a fraction. It compares 2 to 5, right? The value of a ratio is when you actually divide. 2 to 5 means 2 divided by 5. And when you use a calculator, 2 divided by 5, you're going to get, try it out, an answer of 0.4. This is the value. Okay. And I need to add an S here. Okay. All right, next page. So this page was 9, notes plus homework. We got to fix it. You still have a couple questions to finish on this page. This is going to be a short lesson. We're on page 10, double number lines. Let's see. That's all notes. Well, there's one little question. On this page, we will work with double number lines. Look it up on your first page. I know you wrote it down. This is a double number line. Notice you have 2 lines and they always start out with 0, 0. You're going to compare two quantities. The two quantities that we're talking about in the problem are going to go right here. Okay, recall that Sienna earned $32 for each 4 hours of babysitting. So that's 32 and 4. So what goes on top is the money she earns, because I can tell the 32 is your dollar. So I'll call it income in dollars. Always write down what are we measuring the number in. It's dollars. And this down here, 4 hours, is Hours, yeah. Hours worked, right? Notice we start with 0, 0 because if she doesn't work, then she doesn't have an income. Makes sense, right? Any proportion has to be 0, 0 in the start. Okay, if it's not, you're not going to have a real true proportion. Okay, so now what does it ask here? Represent this relationship on the double number line. Include all the values in the table on the previous page. So I'm going back to my table and I'm looking. I got 32 and 4, and then comes 64. Well, 32 and 64, this is double, so I got to double that. And then I'm going back to my previous page. I also have 8 and 16, but since this is half, I'm going to use 16 because 16 is half of 32. 2 is half of 4. This is how these relationships go. And then I know somewhere in here is 8. 8 is half of 16, so the hours have to be half of 2. So $8 for the first hour, $16 she earns for the second. You could put in the third. So that would be 24, 3 times 8 is 24. You can look at it that way. And then what other numbers do we have? Oh, I think that's pretty much it. How are the quantities on a double number line organized differently than those in a table? I can see that they kind of go in order. Do you see that? That's how I see it. You might see something else. I'm going to just say that. What is the unit rate? The unit rate, remember, per one. $8 per hour. Okay, $8 per hour. Circle it, there it is, okay? What patterns do you notice in the double number line? It looks like everything gets doubled on my numbers, 8, 16, 24. No, wait, not doubled. It goes up by 8, 8, 16, 24, 32, yep. Goes up by 8. It's going up by 8. So it's all multiples of 8 up here. Every hour she works, $8 more. And I shouldn't say it's, the income is going up by 8. We want to be precise with our verbiage, with the way we talk in math. Precision is super important. So I'm going to be a good role model. It is a pronoun, I think. That's what they call it. And it just describes something, but it could be ambiguous. It could be meaning other things too. The income goes up by 8. So there we go. Yeah, and the hours go up by 1, right? Sienna wants to buy a jacket. Add entries to the double number line to help you answer these questions. Suppose the jacket costs $88. How many hours will she need to work? So I like underlining my question. How many hours? So I'm looking for the bottom of the number line. So I look what I wrote here, income on top, hours worked on the bottom. So the number I'm looking for will be on the bottom. How many hours will she need to work? How do you know? $88, the jacket costs 88 bucks. So where would 88 be? 32.64. So if we go up by 8, that would be 72. Then the next one. See, the spaces aren't right. I have to be honest. This won't work because we got something here. So I'm going to make sure my spaces are equal, 72, 80, and then 88. And then what would be the next one? 96, but I'm already past the income. She already got the 88 bucks right here. That she wants her buyer jacket. This is the critical point. How many hours does she need to work? 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm missing some numbers. 9, 10, 11. This is my number here. She has to work 11 hours. Uh, 11 times 8 is 88. Because she gets $8 each hour, 11 hours, and she has enough for the jacket. How do you know? Use double number line. I don't know. I'm not good at how do you know. I'm expecting you to be, but I myself, yeah, we just used the double number line. And then suppose the jacket costs $84. How many hours will she need to work? How do you know? She probably has to work the same amount because it's not telling me I can use part of an hour. So, well, she could say 84. I guess she could do 11 is 88. She makes $8. 4 is half. How about, let's suggest this 10 and a half hours. That's my idea. Okay. So because they didn't, well, how many hours? She'd still have to work 11 hours, but then she'd have $4 or 11 hours and she'd have $4 left. All right, I'm going to insert a little video. So let me see if that works. I'm hoping you can see this little video insert, and I'm going to play it. We already looked at the first part in class, and so, but I'm going to replay the whole thing. It's about Nana's milk, right? Nana wants her milk. 1 cup of milk, 3 scoops of chocolate. No, 4. But you make a mistake. How many scoops you're putting in? 5. Okay.
Oh no.
So we got to fix this recipe. Organize your work. So organizing your work, so you got to fix it to where it's the same ratio as this one, 1 to 4, so that the consistency of the milk is not sweeter or less sweet. So organizing your work means you got to make like a double number line. I like those, or a table. Okay, let's see what's next. Nope, we don't want this again. Okay, here's their solution for this. Oh, this is a new question. We're gonna do both of these. Now it's about eggs. Let me start this. Wants her eggs, 2 eggs with flour, okay. 3 tablespoons flour. 3 is the ratio. But you accidentally put in 2 eggs and 4.
Oh no.
So it's too much
Man's
flour.
gonna kill me.
Yeah, all right. So how can we fix it? We're gonna again organize our work. Okay, let's see if they come up with an idea. What's this last slide? Oh, how I fixed it. let's not look at that. I'm going to see if we can work that out ourselves. Okay, I hope this video was visible to you guys. So we're now on page 11. Nana, back in Nana's kitchen. So we're going to work this out here, okay? So the first story was the milk. No, yeah, the milk. So let's draw 2 lines. These lines are called parallel. So the number line starts at what? You guys tell me. 0, no milk, no chocolate. So the milks is measured in cups. So you always want to write your units of measure, the chocolate in scoops. You always make sure you know what the numbers mean. So we had, what did she want? 1 cup of milk. This is what she wanted. 1 cup of milk, 3 cups of chocolate, right? Wanted. Well, she got, I'm gonna put, actually, I'm gonna move up and I'm gonna say, okay, well, if I double it, what do I have? 1 goes to 2 cups of milk, then I need to double this, so that makes it 6 cups of chocolate. So 2 cups of milk and 6 cups of chocolate would fix it, because, you know, I can always add another cup of milk and then add 2 extra. So this is a way to fix it. Add 1 more cup of milk. And since we already have 4 in it, 2 more cups. Oh no, scoops. Of chocolate. If you can read that, you're good. But what is if you don't have such a big container? Maybe the cup glass won't hold another cup of milk. So let's go back to what we had. We had somewhere in the middle here, we had 4 scoops of chocolate in here already, and 1 cup of milk. How can we fix it to put a number here? Yeah. So how much do we add to, so we won't have to add more chocolate? That's my question. Well, we could say 4 is between 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got to figure out a connection between 3 and 4. So would we, how much milk? It's going to be a little bit more. So let me try something. Okay, I came up with an answer. That's a fraction. So I want you guys to think for a minute before I put the number down and see how I got that. My fraction that I'm adding to this 1 cup is 1/3. So now I have 1 1/3 cup of milk, and my 4 scoops will be sufficient. See how, if you can figure out how I got this number, you can explain it to me, okay? Or I'm gonna write or, leave as it is, and just add 1/3 cup of milk. Okay, on the egg problem. So this was the chocolate milk. Now comes the egg problem. We still have to draw a number line, double number line, to reason it out. So we have, oops, start here at 0, 0. So I can say I'm going to put the eggs on top. It doesn't matter which way you go, by the way, number of eggs, and then the flour. And I think the flour was measured in tablespoons. This is how you shorten that. Always write down what numbers mean, what kind of measurements. And I think she wanted 2 eggs. So I'm going to put that out here a little bit. 2 eggs go with 3 tablespoons of flour. But what did we do? The person did put 4 tablespoons of flour in it. So we still got 2 eggs, but 4 tablespoons of flour. So how can we fix it? Let me see what happens in here. If I have 1 egg, how much flour? 1 is half of 2, so therefore this number has to be half of 3. So 1 egg goes with 1.5 tablespoon flour. 3 egg, 1.5, 3, go with 4.5, right? 1 times 3 is 3, 1.5 times 3 is 4.5. Try it out. 1.5 times 3, 4.5. You can do this in your calculator. 1.5 times 3 is 4.5, 4.5. Okay, so now we're above the flour. So we just, what do we have to add? We have to add 1 more egg since we already have 4 tablespoons. We just have to, or he was a he, right? He just, so it's right here that this combination would work, has to add 1 more egg. He already has 2 in it. And how much more flour? He already has 4 tablespoons, so he has to add a half. And 1/2 tablespoon of flour. Yep. Okay, so that's an example of double number line. Next page is your homework, and then we're done with this lesson. And then we'll start the 3rd lesson soon. You guys are, this is not super hard, I don't think. Sometimes I'm surprised by my students. They'll tell me it is hard. But hopefully you'll be able to do this. This is page 12 homework, and we're done with lesson 2. Have a good one, guys.